We have the most fabulous collection of artifacts. We have Drake's toothbrush.
To have a collection of this size and this magnitude related to oil is unique.
What we want most visitors to leave with and understand as they head out about the oil story is that it really started here.
Just outside Titusville, Pennsylvania, and a stone's throw from Oil Creek, sits the Drake Well Museum. And just a few feet across from the museum is the original oil well Edwin Drake drilled in 1859. Drake's discovery started the modern petroleum industry. And at this museum, the oil story is told to visitors from all over the world through its premier collection of artifacts and documents.
The collection at Drake Well is astounding. The research library has 500 volumes, some of which you can find nowhere else in the world. The artifact collection, what you see in the gallery is the tip of the iceberg, being here. And we have a reenactor who looks exactly like him.
Barbara Zolli is the director of the Drake Well Museum. She says this is the place to learn about the people who worked in the Pennsylvania oil industry.
We have their letters, their diaries, their photographs. Perhaps the strongest element we have is 15,000 photographs. The core of that exhibit or of that collection is 4,000 glass plate negatives.
Several oil men back in the late 1800s collected and gathered up all of these papers, realizing that what they were involved in was incredibly important and was changing the world. It's a petroleum soap company here in Titusville. Can't imagine wanting to bathe with petroleum, but oh well, they did.
Susan Bates, as the museum's curator and historian, is familiar with many of the archives housed at the museum, including papers once owned by the man who started the oil industry, Edwin Drake.
The documentation of the drilling of that first well and the sale of the oil from that well, his agreement with Samuel Keir, the Pittsburgh refiner, all those documents that prove that our oil well was the beginning of the petroleum industry.
Those scholars and writers come from all over the world to research petroleum in the museum's archives. This collection is open to anybody.
We've had some wonderful young scholars, as young as 6th grade, working on National History Day projects from Pennsylvania and from other states who travel here to see Edwin Drake's papers and some of the others.
Pennsylvania's oil story is told here through small and large displays, dioramas and artifacts, past and present. These are examples of some of the exhibits visitors see how Native Americans used to collect the oil, replicas of derricks and the tools used for drilling. And they also hear the echo sound of oil rigs.
And the smells. You can actually smell crude oil from around the world, as we've got samples for people to squeeze and sniff.
And as part of its educational mission, the museum offers tours. School children come here on their class field trips.
Nitroglycerin was a very, very explosive liquid.
Today, these students are enjoying a museum's special event, the Nitro Show.
Ready? Everybody count with me. 1, 2, 3.
We see maybe 3,000 to 4,000 school kids as part of our Heritage School series that we have. We see almost 8,000 overall. Well, it looks like we have a little bit of an oil seeping up out of the ground here.
Dan Weaver started working at the Drake Well Museum as an intern. Now he's the museum educator. He says the #1 question he gets from visitors is a simple one.
And the question is that really the hole? And the answer is yes. Right behind me, the pipe that comes out of the ground is really the hole in the ground that Colonel Drake drilled back in 1859.
One of the interesting things is that we are ideally positioned to serve a variety of different audiences. The stock trout stream, the recreational train, the bicycle trails, the picnic pavilions. You don't even have to come into the museum if that's not your thing. But we're going to move enough of the artifacts and things outside and have them working so that at least you got to be curious.
The curious come for many reasons, but one thing is for sure. Barbara, Sue, and Dan want visitors to leave here with an understanding that the oil story started right here in Pennsylvania.
It's not Texas, it's not Canada, it's not somewhere overseas. It's right here in western Pennsylvania, and it's still relevant to their lives today.